audience to understand.
Yeah.
Give me an elevator pitch about 𝗲𝗏solutions. What do you guys do?
Workforce management, we say we are more in human intelligence, where our purpose is not just giving resources. We will work for you to determine what is best.
You rather have been a catalyzer yourself as a CEO of the company, and the mindset that your founders carry to bring in innovative solutions that would not only help your customers today, but in a way strategically partner with them to give them a jump start for the next 5 to 10 years.
For us, it was we were part of the business. We understood the pain, and that pain really helped us create this service offering. And we realized that if we do not change, the market will change us.
And since you are a global workforce solutions company yourself,
Right.
and how is 𝗲𝗏solutions the right partner of choice?
But we believe, and how we are different also in a way, that it should be a consultative process, not just because it's convenient for me. What is best for the client?
What do you think separates that marketing from what actually an agentic AI company is?
I very rarely you will see somebody saying that we are not AI. Everybody. If you remember in early 90s or 80s, there used to be, the buzzword used to be foreign collaboration. Every company will say, I have a foreign collaboration. Today it is about every company will say, I have AI in my company.
On one side, you are running a large, operationally heavy business. On the other side, you're also building an early stage AI company.
I think the right leadership team which we have built has played a key role.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the Sunny Shah Show. We are tuning in from our Dubai studio today, and with me, it's my privilege to have Mr. Vishal Aggarwal, CEO of 𝗲𝗏solutions Inc. Vishal hails from a city called Chandigarh in the northern part of India. He has been a professional in his past life, made his way to become a successful entrepreneur, and in this journey crafted more than 2 businesses. Vishal, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Sunny.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for traveling all the way to Dubai and making this possible.
Absolutely. Looking forward to a great conversation.
I'm very excited to have you on the show today, Vishal, because your expertise, your experience can add a lot of value to our audience, and I'm sure it's going to be a very exciting conversation.
Absolutely. I do look forward to the same.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Vishal, you trained as an engineer. You started your career in Punjab Communication.
Correct.
And then it was mid-90s. We went into, everybody wanted to have a secure job. Everybody wanted to have a great professional life. What did you expect to do? What were you expecting to do with that degree at that time? And how different is the path for you from there onwards?
So, my journey has been somewhat a little different. So I did my engineering in electronics. And a lot of time when people come out of engineering colleges, the first thing is they need to have a job.
Right.
Somehow I was very clear I'm going to build my career in sales.
Mm-hmm.
Although my father was very disappointed. And he said, why you want to do that? Studying from engineering colleges, from Punjab Engineering College. But somehow I always knew that I want to pursue my career. Maybe because I was very bad in electronics, and for whatever reasons, I was very clear. So whenever companies came to our campus, I only applied for sales job. And that is what brought me to the company Punjab Communications. Although it was a telecom company, but I became part of the software division for sales, and I took up that career. The most important thing, it was local for me. So that was a big motivator. Nothing beyond that. One thing was very clear. I want to be in sales, so I took up that assignment.
You took multiple roles in your career before
Yes.
you carved your way all the way to become the CEO of 𝗲𝗏solutions in 2015. I see my research says that you did product management, you did service delivery, customer care, enterprise sales, and in several companies.
Yes.
What did that variety of roles teach you as you were preparing for this big role?
So what had happened is, I think with the diverse roles which I picked up, It gave me exposure to various functions within an organization. And somehow at an early stage, I overestimated myself, or rightly or wrongly, that I would like to lead a company at some stage.
Right.
Although this was not intentional, but with this diverse experience, the amount of exposure I got, and that is what happened. That today, when I work and people talk of different function, I can have a meaningful conversation. It's not German for me.
True.
And because of this diverse experience, I can sit down, and when I look back and I look at it, I did sales, I did product management, I did service delivery, operations management. So that exposure really helped me as an individual to really take up bigger responsibilities.
That versatility always adds
absolutely.
and a lot of value, right?
Yeah.
So getting into a CEO role, now that you are running a business,
Correct.
you understand every dimension, every team, every angle of it.
Absolutely.
Because you've been in those shoes.
Correct. I started doing my job. I used to do, I don't know whether people in today's generation would know that when IPOs used to come out, they used to publish big pamphlets talking about the company and everything. And they used to have a section which was a risk about the company.
Okay.
And I used to read that very carefully. Very often with the IT companies, when they used to come out with IPOs, there used to be one section that says the company is prone to risk because 80% of their business comes from 2 clients or 3 clients. And I remember that. So when I joined eSolutions and I saw the similar thing, almost 60% of companies' revenue was coming from 1 client. And there were 2 or 3 who were contributing. And when I looked at it, I said, although this client is giving a lot of business, but we are a huge risk. Tomorrow, if this client sneezes, we'll catch cold.
Right.
Right? That shouldn't happen. So the first charter was direction we took, that within a period of 3 to 4 years, this client's contribution should not be more than 30%.
Sure.
And not at the cost of that. We don't want to grow. We want to grow, but we want other clients to grow. So the first thing we did was we want to get into new client acquisition. And we said we cannot be limited to 1 client.
Agreed.
And that's what we started working on, getting into new client acquisition, ensuring there's a support there, grow other clients as well. And then by the time, I think, before the slowdown happened in 2022, we almost had 3 or 4 clients who were giving almost the same amount of business. And I think that's a very concrete decision which we took, which was business-driven part of it, that we need to be. And tomorrow, if this client says no, the company should not go down. Because a lot of time you hear of that.
Absolutely.
Oh, one client canceled the contract is gone, company is gone. And that is what we wanted to make this organization more resilient.
So today your company spans across workforce solutions,
Correct.
AI solutions, digital engineering,
Yeah.
and you have a wide array of services that you offer to your customers
Correct.
across the globe. And I think you are global. How
Yes.
many countries now?
We are in 35 countries.
35 countries and counting, right? How did you carve this way along with your founders, or that took eSolutions to that trajectory? Because this looks very impressive to me.
Yeah. So what was happening is that we were getting continuous growth. After COVID, because I think some of the processes we put in place, even during COVID we grew, although companies went down.
Sure.
We had a 20% growth in revenue that year.
And what did you do differently?
So one, we started looking at new markets, new type of opportunities where we said no earlier, we did that. And second thing, it is also because of our employees, because they saw the market was tight, the amount of commitment we saw from our employees, that really helped. First of all, what we did was, because what we are hearing in the market, that, companies are laying off. That was the first thing we said, nobody's going to be laid off. Unless you got poor performance, that's another thing, which will be happening in the normal course of time. But we said, guys, nobody's going to be laid off if you are working. And one of our co-founder, Randy and Amit, they are a little conservative. They are old school in that way. They say, these are the guys who helped build the company. How can we let them go? So let's find work for them.
So driven by values.
Absolutely. And the guys also responded. People worked for 14 hours a day during that period. And that helped us turn around things. So we were profitable. And after COVID, we were growing like 40%, 50% every year. Now, around 22, 23, when we saw the first signs of slowdown happening.
Yep.
And we realized that the conventional way, if you keep doing business, revenue will keep, and we didn't know how long this slowdown is going to continue.
True.
So we said we need to pivot and look at new areas of doing business. And when we did more brainstorming, AI was still emerging, RPAs were there in place. So we said we need to look at, it was not, initial thought was not about we want to get into a new line. Initial thought was how we can leverage technology to be ready for the future. That was the initial thought process. And that is where we started investing in product engineering, because when we look at some of the products in the market, ATS is the backbone of a business. Like you have a manufacturing company would have an ERP. We had an ATS which is a backbone. And we realized a lot of the conventional ATSs really, they were doing old school. Search was happening on keyword searches basis, which gives you poor results. I said, this is not the best way of doing moving forward. So we started investing in developing these products. And we said we cannot have keyword search, we need to have semantic search, where context is picked up and then you get the results. So that was the first thing we started.
Sure.
Then what had happened was, because we were geographically expanding, and a lot of our expansion did not happen because we thought, oh, let's go to this country. A lot of expansion happened because the client asked us them to support them in those countries, right? Because we had great relations, the primary country where we were working, they say, hey, we are now working in Hungary, can you help us in Hungary? Or can you help us in Hong Kong? That's how our expansion happened, right? So we were responding to client needs. Now, by that period, we realized that we had spread over multiple countries, how we can leverage it more.
Sure.
So we started doing EOR services, AOR services for the client. AI came in somewhere in early 2024, when ChatGPT was released and everything, and we realized at an early stage, this is going to be the future.
Okay. So you were one of the early champions.
We were early champions in terms of the HR workspace.
Sure.
We started investing. But what is happening is, what we observed, a lot of other companies jumped into that. I wouldn't say that we were the only ones, but what was happening, people had their platforms and they sprinkled it with AI.
Sure.
And they said, hey, we are also an AI platform.
So everybody was trying to be relevant.
Absolutely, yeah, they were trying to, but no one was trying to reinvent. And we said, let's develop grounds up. We want to be AI native platforms. And we hired teams, build up engineering teams. So initial investment was to develop product which will enable our business. So we use conversational AI, agentic frameworks, everything we used it to develop these platforms. Now, as we matured and they really did well and they created great products, then we say, why limit it to ourselves?
Sure.
Why not take it to external audience? So we productized it and we said, let's take it to the customers. And then we also built up a service line around it. So a lot of evolution happened first around the internal core business, and then we expanded it to a wider audience and taking it to our customers. That's how the journey happened.
For our audience to understand,
Yeah.
give me an elevator pitch about eSolutions. What do you guys do?
So we no longer, in our conversations, it is no longer about workforce management. We
Sure.
say we are more in human intelligence, right? Where our purpose is not just giving resources, we will work for you to determine what is best, how we could help you improve your productivity. That is what our charter today is. So we are no longer a convention. And we believe that in 3 to 4 years' time, half of the workforce management companies who are still working the conventional way, you never know, half of them will die out.
True.
Because the market is evolving, changes, and that is what we are doing. So we are working with our clients to be ready for the future. That is what we do. So we are a global organization, not just limited to giving resources. We will work with you to enable your business in different countries to be part of your team. That's what eSolutions is. Not limited to technology. We are using the latest technologies, products to enable those services.
We're sitting here at the helm of Middle East,
Yeah.
The beautiful city of Dubai. Why is this market of strategic value to you and eSolutions?
Okay, if you look at it, among all the countries where we've spread out, Middle East was probably the last one. And we, like I said, a lot of our expansion happened because the client asked us. Dubai was not one of those regions because the client asked us. It is our research which showed that this is where considerable investment. And the market was also maturing here. And I think the interest in AI and AI-related services, because the government has been supporting that, and we said this is where we should be. And we presumed that because AI is coming, government is supporting, is the industry ready with those solutions or not? And we said this is where we need to be. So we started off our operations around 2 years back. We are ramping it up. And because institutionally there is a lot of reception to technology, I've been here for 2 days. I met a couple of clients. Our conversation initially, when our sales team set up meetings, it is about workforce management. That conversation happens for only 2 minutes. After that, all the conversation is around AI and how we can leverage that and how we can offer services. So that's a big difference, which I have not seen in any other geography.
Sure.
So the businesses, the institutions are more receptive to change and technology adoption than I've seen in any other geography.
And you believe that you are the true partner of choice for such companies?
We do, because one, we understand the business. See, what has happened is a lot of companies, they created technologies and they say, here's it in the workforce. We come from the business.
Sure.
We understand the domain, we understand the pain. Because we are developed come from there, we understand and we are able to offer that. So that's why we feel we are best equipped to do. I'm sure there could be others as well.
So let's say I'm an Emirati company.
Yeah.
I want your help to either expand my teams or create talent pods here in the UAE or anywhere else in the world. First of all, help me answer, which are your global market presence? Where do you operate from? And if I am a CXO here who's willing to partner with you and build my teams across the globe, what do I have on offer right now?
So one, as an organization, we have presence in all the continents. We are in North America, we are in LATAM. In LATAM, we have around in 6 countries where we have presence. In Europe, we have in around 11 countries. In Africa, we have in Egypt and Mauritius, Middle East here, India, Southeast Asia, further east, and ANZ region.
Sure.
So we are spread out that way. And being spread out, that has also enabled us to get insight about all these countries. Some countries where we thought it's going to be a bigger challenge, they have turned out to be much better. Where we thought it's going to be easier, it has turned out to be a nightmare there. So there are different experiences. So when I sit down with the client, and you gave me an example, if a client comes to me and asks me, I will not tell them just go to India. I will tell you what are your challenges, what is your requirement, and where are you operating, and then I'll recommend. So I'll be more like a consultant to them initially. And then depending on the merits of what their requirements are, we could take a call. Now, if somebody says, hey, I'm working in ASIC designing or embedded systems, my scale is not very large. I could probably say, go to Poland, right? You require super niche skills. Poland is a great place. Somebody says, I want to set up a call center. I'll say, hey, go to Philippines. But if somebody says, hey, I want to set up a 2,000-seater or 1,000-seater technology hub, then I'll say no better place than India, right? So depending on what the needs or requirements of the clients are, we feel we are best positioned to be as a consultant to them, decide upon, tell them, take a decision, which direction they should pursue. So we are not coming with a mindset, this is what we want to sell them. We would love to understand and then offer them our suggestions.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you back to the journey again. Let's rewind ourselves to 2022.
Right.
A few years back.
Yeah.
eSolutions was already a large established company.
Correct.
And that's when you decided to set up automation.
Right.
What led you to make that pivot? And what is automation all about?
So automation, when we set it up, initially, this was more in the product engineering space. Product engineering, because one, we could have done it within eSolutions as well.
True.
But we realized that if we want to have, because the type of people resources required are very different from what a conventional workforce management resources are. We said you can't put everyone under the same umbrella. This is a very niche area. They should be working in the different environment, type of business, the way these businesses are run. So we actually set up a separate office altogether, registered a separate company, and luckily we had a great domain which was also available, and we set it up. So initial objective was on the product engineering side. I spoke about developing our own ATS. That was one of the first things we did, and the EOR/AR product. Then the second extent thought was that one, we develop these solutions. Second is also about offering professional services and advisory services to the client. That was the initial thought process.
Sure.
And we said people we hire, they are the best of engineers. They should feel that we are joining an engineering company, not a workforce staffing company. So that was also another reason why we set it up.
How do you spell automation?
Okay, automation is spelled as 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Nice way of calling it out.
Yeah. So phonetically it sounds very similar, but that's what we are trying to do. You're automating it, and we phonetically we got the domain as well.
Tell me more about Aairo.ai.
Okay.
What's the offering there? Why did you build Aairo.ai?
Yeah.
And how is it helping your customers?
So Aairo, first of all, let me tell you, is an acronym.
Okay.
Right? It stands for Agentic AI based recruitment orchestrator.
Okay.
So that's how we coined this term. And so what was happening as we saw the transformation happening in the industry, we saw no longer you would get conventional requirements from the client. The client would have a combination of 10 skills
Sure.
within the same resource which is there.
Yep.
And then because we were working in workforce management, we were saying the biggest challenge which the clients had was about getting people to do an assessment. Nobody liked doing interviews.
True.
They said, why should we doing this? It's a waste of time. A lot of time there was a fallback which was happening. Candidates were pulling out because it was taking time. Or there was another scenario was some of our clients raised later that somebody else took the interview and somebody else was the candidate who joined that. So there were some of these challenges which are coming in. Or let's say, forget about technology. In a non-tech area, there were no technology platform which were available to do assessment. So initially when we started off, and as the market was growing, we said we should have a platform which is industry agnostic. And also because we were getting global, our second requirement was that it should also be multilingual platform. So it was initially for our own internal need. So a lot of products which we developed, initially we did it for ourselves. And we said this is what our two business case was. It should not be only limited to tech hiring.
Sure.
Two, it should also be industry agnostic.
Sure.
Third, there were a lot of platforms which were available. We were not the first one, I'll be honest. But a lot of those platforms the questions were pre-fed and it was just asking. So we said we want a conversation-driven platform where you give a reply, on the basis of your reply, the next question should come up, not what was already fed. So that was a charter which was given to the team. And on the basis of this charter, the team worked on it. They spent a couple of months, couple of quarters, I would say. And now what they've been able to create a platform which today is operational in 16 languages. You could have a very native-driven conversation, native live conversation. Today, if you are a manufacturing company or a financial institution or a tech company, the same platform can do an assessment. So what you need to do is you need to upload the job description, upload the resume on the candidate, and on the basis of this, it will do the interview.
It's very creative.
Yeah. So that was one part. Second, what we extended it further is that as the market grew, we also realized that there was so much of automation and companies also looking at productivity enhancement. So this platform got extended to sourcing of profiles,
Sure.
screening of profiles, initial pre-screening of candidates by giving bot calls, and then do an assessment. So the whole journey of recruitment started getting automated and became part of the Aairo journey.
Interesting. Yeah. What I'm realizing is, as you are already well established,
Yeah.
I think the differentiator that you're bringing on table is you have boldly innovated, if I can use this term, at every stage of your company's growth. You brought in solutions, you brought in platforms, you brought in a mindset of giving the best services and solutions to your customers.
Correct.
And in that journey, you not faded away by eliminating some of the old ways of doing things. You rather have been a catalyzer yourself as a CEO of the company, and the mindset that your founders carry to bring in innovative solutions that would not only help your customers today, but in a way strategically partner with them to give them a jump start for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. So see, and this is where like I said earlier, the big difference comes in is there are companies who are creating great engineers sitting in Silicon Valley. They're creating these products, but they have very little idea about the business. Great engineers creating good products, but having little knowledge about the business. And for business knowledge, they're going to external resources. And that is how they're just creating those products and offerings. For us, it was we were part of the business. We understood the pain. And that pain really helped us create this service offering. And we realized that if we do not change, the market will change us. We are not going to be somebody else will be sitting in our place. Because that is inevitable. Market has to change, especially the way in the last 2 years with the advent of AIs and everything which is happening around it. The two areas which have been most impacted with the AI is the first you started hearing about the workforce, the talent acquisition team, the HR functions got impacted. Second is the finance which got impacted. Third, you hear a lot about the legal side of it, where people-driven businesses. And we realized that we being among the first industry which was impacted, we need to be part of the change. We cannot be sitting aside and watching it. So that is what really drove our journey.
Vishal, everybody is talking about global capability centers.
Correct.
It's not the GCC as this country knows it or this part of the world knows it. It's
Correct.
Global capability centers.
Correct.
India is emerging as a global power hub when it comes to attracting global companies to set up and scale their centers
Right.
in India.
Right.
And since you are a global workforce solutions company yourself,
Right.
you have enabled many, many businesses set up not just in India,
Yeah.
but in different parts of the world,
Correct.
depending on their business needs.
Correct.
Tell me more about this opportunity that we have as an industry with so much influx of having the need of setting up in India. And how is eSolutions the right partner of choice for any company here in the UAE or anywhere across the globe trying to set up their centers in India and in other service delivery centers?
Right. So, GCC is now the global capability centers. They are the space at which it's growing in India. And although it's grown still quite a lot, and it is expected to go by another 30% in next 2 to 3 years. And there's a lot of push which is happening from the government as well. What we realized is that there are certain large players in India who have taken up and converted this whole GCC thing into real estate and recruitment. And, we'll take care of office space for you. We'll take care of compliances. And when we are talking to some of the established GCCs, so Praveen Dadu from our company who heads the GCC practice, and he went around and had a conversation with a couple of clients. Companies who had already set up GCCs, and they came back and they shared the feedback that they were struggling. I said, struggling for what? I said, we are struggling that one of the initial objective for how we could bring in transformation within the business, that is not happening. How we can bring financial savings, that's not happening. Or we are not able to build up teams. Yes, legally we have an entity, compliant, everything, the initial partner who helped us, they're taken care of. But we are not able to get the teams together. And hiring is one of the biggest problem which is there. That was one of the big thing. And if that continues, companies will come in and they'll walk out as well.
Absolutely.
Because they're not able to do that.
Absolutely.
And this is something we realize is a big problem. And very often, like I said earlier, for the Middle East market, again, a lot of time decisions are taken, we have to go to India. Obviously, I'm in India and I love the companies, more and more companies to come to India. But we believe, and how we are different also in a way, that it should be a consultative process, not just because it's convenient for me.
Yeah.
What is best for the client, in what industry, what work area, what scale they want to go in for. And then decision should be taken, not just a real estate and set up to be there. The companies should be involved for a longer period of time with SLAs, with commitment. So
Sure.
if tomorrow I take up a responsibility of helping a client set up a GCC, my engagement should not be just limited that I'll find an office, I'll set it up, compliances,
Very true.
and I'll take advisory fee on that. That's not what I would love to do. We would love to do an assessment of your business, also give you some advisory side of it. And also in the age of AI, what we are also seeing is no longer the conventional ways of doing business is going to survive. You cannot have 100 people there, you put 100 people there, work will continue. We are saying, is there a better way of delivering things? Today, if there are 100 people, can this be done by 60 resources and you create hybrid pods? Right? When you create those hybrid pods, there are AI agents there and then you have resources there. There is where the advantage of a company like mine comes in. So my company would come and say, hey, we'll advise you that don't just hire this thing, create hybrid pods on it and you could have cost saving, and you're also helping your parent company also do a transformation. And that is key thing which comes in. And we'll be as your partner in terms of building the teams, maintaining the teams, and ensure that all compliances, everything is taken care of. And if required, I would even come and say, hey, don't go to India.
Very true.
And although in India you have 29 states, everybody is competing with one another, but in some cases I'd say don't come to India. Go to Mexico, go to Poland, go to Egypt, go to Mauritius, whichever country it is. So the decisions for the location for your office should be based on what your need is, what is best for you, not what is best for me. And that is where the big difference working with these solutions come in. It is not what we can do, we drive it. What is best for you, that's how we drive our business.
Brilliant. Every other recruitment services provider in the world out there is claiming to be AI powered.
Right.
What do you think separates that marketing from what actually an agentic AI company is?
So, everybody says, you rightly said that, hey, we are. And if you go to a website and I very rarely you will see somebody saying that we are not AI. Everybody. If you remember in early 90s or 80s, there used to be, the buzzword used to be foreign collaboration. Every company will say, I have a foreign collaboration. Today it is about every company will say, I have AI in my company.
Sure.
How they're using, nobody knows. But they're just saying AI because that helps, right? So this is what is happening today. So a lot of people have their conventional ways of doing business and they sprinkled AI on it. Whereas what is really going to make difference is if you relook into your business, build up grounds up, discard whatever was done earlier, build up your products, platforms in a new way of doing business and go ahead with that. If you are not doing this, you are just wasting your time. And believe me, there will be somebody else who will come in with a fresher way of doing things and they will change the market very fast. That is where the big difference comes in this.
Speaking of AI, if we fragment the hiring process, what part of the hiring process you believe AI shouldn't be a part of and there should be a human intervention?
So initially, when we created the journey of Aairo, theoretically we said, hey, we don't need recruiters, we don't need people. Everything can be automated and we just need an account manager who's maintaining the relationship.
Sure.
That was the initial thought. And then we realized and we started seeing it that you cannot just leave it on this thing. You need people at every stage to screen, filter out whatever is coming in.
Right.
And that is where we use a term that we have human in the loop at every stage of validation of whatever results coming in, right? So a lot of time people talk about, hey, the recruiters will not be required. And we say, no, it is not. There's a transformation which is required to be done. You're not laying off people. You have to just transform your resources, how they utilize. And maybe you can, with the same number of people, you could do much more business. So if you look at it, what happens in the whole recruitment cycle is You get a requirement, whether internally within the company or from your client. First thing you do is you understand the requirement. You pass the data, meaning meaningful keywords out of it. Then you'll do a posting, or you'll go and source the candidates. Then you do screening of the candidates. Then you do a pre-screening of the, I'm just explaining you the processes. You do initial pre-screening, are you interested or not, this is a job. Then you do the interview, L1, L2, and then you engage with the delivery team, the
Sure.
business team. Each of these stages could then you bring in AI agents who could drive it. But the result of each and every stage, you need to have people coming in.
Agreed.
Maybe 3 years, 5 years down the line, who knows what the future is going to be. But today what you need to do is you need to build your guardrails around it, whatever you're building, and ensure that there are people who are validating whatever the outcome is, and then follow that process. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. I have another direct question for you.
Yeah, sure.
You are building an AI platform
Correct.
that's going to potentially reduce the number of recruiters required in the business.
Right.
And on the other side, you are in a business of placing people to jobs.
Correct.
What do you think about this?
Yeah. Good question. So, what we are doing is, if you look at my own company, we have close to around 700 recruiters or 800 recruiters who are working with us, covering multiple geographies.
Sure.
And we had this conversation when we started working, and I had a town hall, and one person said, are we going to lose our jobs when all these things you're doing? And my answer to that person is, no, you will not. You could lose your job if you don't change. Right? I think your biggest enemy for the people is going to be if they are adapting new technologies, adapting themselves to the new technologies, and they change and they learn, nobody's going to lose a job. Problem happens is when somebody says that, hey, I do my work with paper and pen and I'll continue doing it because that's how I like to do it, then you will be replaced. So what we are doing is within our organization, because what happens in many of the recruiting staffing firms, you have a recruitment team, you have a sourcing team, you have a recruitment team, and you have an account management team. We are saying how we can convert all of these into recruiter 360s, where we don't have these layers. The same person is sourcing, the same person is engaging with the clients. So today, if a recruiter productivity is, let's say, 2 starts or 3 starts in a month, how we can increase the productivity to 7 or 8 starts. So with the same amount of team which is there, how the business is there. It is for you to grab.
Sure.
Right? And also with companies, and not every company is going to change, also those companies who do not, they will die out. Their business is there for you to grab. And the companies who change, who adopt new technologies, and they go with, they will grab. So there's a market there. There's work there for these people. So if people adopt these new technologies, the organization will grow, business grow, and nobody's going to lose jobs. The way they look at their work is going to change.
Sure.
Right? It is something like in 80s when computerization came in and all banking and everything started getting shifted. The first thing which happened is the bank employees went on strike.
True.
And they say, we are not going to do that. We are going to lose our jobs. And look at it today. The banking network has grown 10 times, 20 times what it was. So technology has enabled, and we believe this is what's going to happen here. With technology coming in, businesses are going to grow. New avenues will open up, which currently are not being tapped into. And the companies will go and look into that business without losing their employees.
Where do you think 3 years from now,
Yeah.
agentic AI would play in the recruitment cycle, the hiring processes, in a good way and surprisingly in a bad way?
I think in a good way is that what I foresee is recruitment industries today, if you look at it, there are companies who will go and say, I only do tech recruiting or I only do manufacturing. I think that those lines are going to get blurred.
Okay.
Right. Your ability to engage, source people, because a lot of that is going to be driven by technology.
Sure.
That domain knowledge which is required will be lesser. You would still require to do an assessment, but the level which is required, I think that's going to reduce, and that will help companies to go into a wider spectrum of businesses and domain areas, not just get limited by, I'll give you an example. Only yesterday, my team shared that, and that's what a tech hiring team, they were able to hire doctors.
Wow.
Yeah, and they said, how the hell did you guys do that? Doctors, and they hired in Oman. And they said,
Interesting.
Oman, we don't even have presence, and how did you do that? And the recruitment team said, we were using AI and everything. We had a problem, we'll go to ChatGPT and enter the prompts and what needs to be asked from that candidate. We were using that. That's a very basic way of using, but they were able to do it. See, that's how technology will help you
It would,
grow
yeah.
and look at new avenues, right? And, yeah,
From a leadership lens,
yeah.
what mistake did you make earlier at eSolutions that you would not want to repeat today?
I think when I shifted here to this industry, it's a little different. I came from the services side, and a lot of time when people met, they were not very expressive. And my initial judgment was, hey, people don't know. They're just doing it. And it was just that people were hesitant speaking out.
Sure.
So I think what I did was, and I learned it over a period of time, I learned the hard way that I need to cool myself down, give them opportunity, and as you make them more comfortable, people speak out, and they come up with the best of solutions, right? So I think that was initially, because especially when I changed, I came from a hardcore tech company, and when I shifted here, so I came with preconceived notions. This is how people are, this is how they do it. And I think as I engaged with more and more people, I think that became a little bit of an eye-opener for me, and probably changed the way I did my business.
On one side, you are running a large, operationally heavy
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
On the other side, you're also building an early stage AI company.
Right.
How do you manage to switch between these two roles?
So I think only way it happens is if you find the right leaders to drive those. Not everything I can do. I need to enable those leaders. I think what we've been able to do is we've been able to hire the right, very good teams, engineering leaders, and enable them with this. And I think with that, that has made my job easy.
Right.
Initially, we failed for the first 6-8 months because the team was not in sync.
Sure.
We made some changes, and we are seeing a major effect of that coming in. Type of things which we would have taken 6 months, 8 months, people are able to do it in weeks and days now because they have the right leadership. And I think creating those separate set of leaders, I think that really helped. And second thing is because it is new area, it has motivated me. I spent a lot of time there with the team. Only thing I did is that when we set up the new office, I said, let it be close by so that I can go and sit with them and spend time and understand. For me, it's a lot of learning.
Yeah.
So a lot of time we get into a meeting, I'm more on the listening side than on giving suggestions and wherever it is. So that's how we've been able to do that. I think the right leadership team which we have built has played a key role. And we enabled a lot of those people who were not leaders, we enabled new leaders to be created from the same group.
Sure. Vishal, with your vantage standpoint, with the years of experience that you had
Right.
in this industry and in various industries, what's that one practical advice that you would give to someone who's trying to build a futuristic company? Any advice, any tip that they wouldn't get in their MBAs?
I think one is, which probably they'll get everywhere, is don't be afraid to take risks. Learning is, you need to constantly keep it, especially in today's industry. If somebody would have asked me 10 years back, I would have not said this, but today the way the industry is evolving, keep yourself updated, right? Because every week, every month, what was 1 year back is today dated, right? Changes are, and change is inevitable, right? And the best way of doing is create younger people around you. They'll come up with the best of suggestions because not everything, they are more updated with the changes
True.
than you are. And if you listen to those guys, the younger lot which is there, I think, and be receptive to the ideas and suggestions, any business which is going through that journey, I think they would have a great journey if they do that. listen to it. Don't be the mindset that I know everything. I think that's very important.
What's something about running a global company and being involved in so many countries, getting to deal with so many cultures?
Yeah.
What's that something that has changed you, or that's something that you learned with this kind of an exposure?
That's very interesting. So what had happened was, initially, for a very long period of time, we were only working in US and in India. And Indian market, because we have been aligned to work for somebody else on the service side, we were well aligned to culturally to the US and watching movies and everything.
True.
And the belief started coming in, the way of doing business, what we know is the only way of doing business.
Sure.
So when we started getting into new geographies, initially it became a cultural shock. People liked certain things. Even if you're giving the great opportunity, they'll decline because certain aspects of you did not give confidence. And initially that was a big challenge. So I think what is important is, as you get into new geographies, don't go with your preconceived notions. Spend time understanding the cultural aspects, what works. So a lot of time, I know when I talk to clients in a new geographies, I always spend a day earlier to know about them, what movies, what sports, what it is, because that's the best way of starting our conversation.
True.
Or politics, whatever it was. Sometimes I actually avoid talking about politics, but it is sometimes good to know if there's a leader they don't like, start off a conversation, they love to talk about that. Or let's say in India, when you go to Bangalore, Bangaloreans love to talk about weather and traffic.
Yeah.
So they love the weather and they hate the traffic. And you start off a conversation in that, they will feel he's our guy. They'll understand this. So you need to know every place, wherever you go, and then engage. I think the journey becomes much more easier. It is not always just about work. And whether you're working with candidates or you're working with clients, good to know what works locally and then drive your business. I think that helps.
So Vishal, we move on to the next round of our episode, the next segment, which I call the rapid fire.
Sure.
I'm going to throw some questions at you.
Okay.
And you have 30 seconds to respond to each one of them.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
So the first one is, which is that tool that you can't live without in your work life?
So I think in my business, data plays a most important role. But if I have to interpret and consume large amount of data, then the AI agents are most important thing, which will help me interpret and capture large amount of data and come up with results. So AI agents today.
One prediction about AI you think most people have gone wrong?
I think initially people, when AI came in, they thought it will do everything for them.
Yeah.
And AI will do all the tasks. And that is where people have over a period of time realized that when we talk, the new terms have been coined where human in the loop and everything have come in. It is not just the AI. The humans will still play a role in terms of, maybe in future, who knows about it, because the way the market is. But today, one thing which people have gone wrong, where the initial apprehensions were there, adoption, that AI will replace. It's not.
It's not replacing.
Right. So,
best career advice you got before you became the CEO of eSolutions?
So, at a very early stage of my career, I used to be very excited in giving suggestions or ideas. And once I was having a conversation with my boss, and he said, as you grow up and you listen to people more, 9 out of 10 times the team themselves will give you a solution.
Sure.
Right? And a lot of times they'll be better than what you could have conceived. So it is best thing to do for you to do is listen to people. Spend time before jumping onto solution.
A city where you want to open eSolutions' next office?
I would love to do it in Johannesburg.
Johannesburg, and why is that?
One, that's one untapped area. And also if you look at it, South Africa is one of the biggest hubs for technology in the southern region of Africa. And well-educated English-speaking people. And what I've been hearing is also, it is also coming up as a fast nearshore center for North America.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's about 3 to 4 hours journey, time difference which is there. And because of English is the main language there, it is a lot of companies are looking at that. So I would love to look at Johannesburg, and I'd love to go there.
Interesting. If you weren't running a technology or workforce company, what would you be doing?
If I was not, okay, maybe advisory.
Advisory?
Yeah. I think if not these, I think I'll probably share my experience with a lot of other people, and if I can help incubate or give advisory to startups and companies in this area, I love to do that.
What's next for Vishal Aggarwal?
I think I'm so much entrenched in a business which is there, where you hardly get time. What we are looking at is as e-solutions. When you look at it, our next plan is how we can take it to a level where we can take the company public. Because
Sure.
What is very important is we believe that the employees have played a key role in terms of building the organization. So we would also like that some of the key people who have been part of the company, they are also able to create generational wealth. And the co-founders of the company are also very clear. No, we are people driven. These people have to be rewarded. So they have been pushing me more. So I initially just gave one idea, but they have been pushing into it. Vishal, we need to take care of our employees. So we love to take the company public so that they could also, and this becomes a long lasting company, and people can create wealth for themselves.
Interesting. Well, Vishal, it was my pleasure having you on the show today. As we come to the end of this segment, we also come to the end of this episode.
Awesome.
For the kind of energetic businesses that you are building, I also found you extremely humble, and I always found you trying to make an active pursuit to give it back for the future generations.
Yeah.
So thank you for being so open and honest. Thank you for sharing your playbooks with us, and I'm sure the audience is going to appreciate and take a lot of learnings from our today's conversations.
No, I think great, Sunny. It was a great conversation and very insightful suggestions or questions which you asked. A lot of time when we are in terms of doing a routine job, we don't think too much into it, and a lot of questions which you asked made me take a step back and think about a lot of those things. And some of the ideas which have come up or conversations which have come up, I want to ensure that we implement it. If there's something new I spoke, I would listen to my own recordings, and I want to ensure that they were not just for the purpose of statement. If there's anything which we can use, some of those ideas, suggestions which have come up into our business as well, we love to do that as well.
No, the pleasure is all mine. I firmly believe that every story is worth sharing.
Correct.
When you're sitting with a human being, you're sitting with 40, 50 years of experience,
Right.
and that is priceless.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy we were able to extract that value from this conversation as well.
Pleasure to be here, Sunny.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Vishal Aggarwal, the CEO of eSolutions. And boy, oh boy, didn't he selflessly walk us through his life of building successful businesses. I'm sure you would have learned a lot from his vantage point of view. I'm sure you can apply these things in your lives. If you are a solution seeker, if you are a company sitting anywhere across the world who wants to set up and scale their operations, not just in India, but across the globe, people like Vishal and companies like eSolutions are your go-to partners. And I would strongly recommend you to give them a call, to get in touch with them. Their details are provided in the description below. Until we meet again, this is me signing off from our Dubai studio. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please make sure you do it before you log off. Until we meet again, this is me signing off. Thank you very much.